Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're setting aside the usual reports and briefings. We're diving headfirst into something, well, pretty unique. It's a philosophical text called The Gate's Witness, Halos, Humors, and Sin.
That's right. And specifically, we're digging into one part, the Ballad of the Monastery Gate. And the really strange thing, the narrator is the gate itself, an old monastery gate talking about humanity.
Exactly. It's this ancient, inanimate object telling its story across centuries. So our mission here is to try and, extract its perspective, this sort of eternal, non-judgmental view it claims to have on everyone who passes through, looking past the robes, the appearances.
And seeing the internal stuff, the halos, the sweat, the hidden sins, as the text puts it.
Yeah. It's supposed to be this contrast between the outside show and the sometimes messy inside reality.
It's an amazing source, really, because it offers this unbiased ledger, almost. The gate describes itself as old as stone and sun.
Yeah.
A witness, it says, but also a father, a friend, and critically, it holds zero judgment. It's just collecting data.
Right. And it claims it opens to the seekers, everyone, no matter what they're carrying inside. But that brings us to the core question, doesn't it? What can a gate, an inanimate object, actually know about the human condition? What truth does it see that maybe we miss because we're, well, so wrapped up in being human ourselves?
Well, I think it knows the truth of consistency. Humans change constantly. Our moods, our beliefs, our bodies. The gate, it stays. And because it's static, almost eternal from our perspective, it perceives things simultaneously. Metaphysical signals and physical ones. Things we're usually too busy or maybe too distracted to notice together.
So it's not just ticking off who goes in and out.
No, not at all. It's recording the state of their soul, their mind, and their body right at that specific moment of passing.
Okay, let's start with the more esoteric side of that, the spiritual data. It mentions halos.
Yes, the halos. It claims it can see them, these sort of indicators of the immediate emotional or spiritual state. It says they flare in colors strange and new.
Strange and new colors. And it's not just a static glow, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned movement.
Exactly. That's what's really fascinating in the description. They're not fixed auras. The source says they bend like water in glass. They shimmer, they flare up, or sometimes they just flicker and pass. It suggests the soul, or maybe the emotional state, is always active, always in flux. It's dynamic.
And it gives us a key, too, the color code for this inner weather report.
It does, very specific. Green for hope, red for longing, and blue for rue, for regret. A really concise summary of that internal landscape.
Hope, longing, regret. That covers a lot. But if the gate is just this passive sensor, how does it interpret those colors? How does it link them to moral states, essentially?
Well, that's where the physical senses come in. It connects the visual, the halo, to the smell of the person. This is where the analysis gets really grounded. It shifts quickly from the ethereal halo to something very visceral, the humors.
The humors, right. It says, I inhale their sweat, their vows unclear.
Precisely. So it's not just seeing this abstract glow of intention, like hope or piety. It's smelling the physical cost of that state.
Yeah.
The effort, the struggle.
So it smells the truth, essentially. The body's truth, maybe, fighting against the mind's intention.
You've got it. And the text is incredibly direct about this. It's not poetic distance here. It says it smells the armpits of hidden desire and the sweat of temptation's little games. It's absorbing the raw physical signs of that moral wrestling match happening inside.
Wow, so appearances mean nothing to it. The pious robe, the solemn expression.
Yeah.
It smells the reality underneath.
It can't be fooled by the performance because the body, through its scent, its sweat, is basically confessing every hidden struggle, every private battle fought and maybe lost.
So, quick question then. Which signal does it trust more? The halo, the maybe fleeting spiritual state, or the sweat, the physical evidence of effort?
That's a great point. It seems like it treats them as two sides of the same coin, inseparable, really. The halo shows the momentary intent, maybe, the flash of hope, the pang of regret. But the sweat, that shows the effort, the exertion, the friction.
Ah, okay. So a bright green halo of hope might be real, but if it comes with the heavy scent of hidden desire.
The gate registers the conflict. It sees the gap between the aspiration and the bodily reality. The tension is the truth it records.
That's a perfect setup for the next big theme, isn't it? This whole duality of appearance versus reality, which the text really hangs on the symbol of the robe.
Absolutely. The robe is the ultimate symbol of the external self they present to the world, and maybe to themselves, the physical sign of their commitment, their vow. But the gate, well, sees right through it. It says, the robe they wear may cover the skin, yet I sense the robe of sin within.
That internal robe of sin, like an accumulation of spiritual grime, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what the gate is really watching.
It seems so. And it notices how people use their physical robes. Sometimes they seem heavy, burdensome. Other times people sort of lay them down on the cold stone floor.
Which could mean different things, right? Either they're genuinely burdened by their piety, or maybe it's a performance, showing off their austerity.
It could be either or both. The gate doesn't judge the motive. It just records the action and the underlying signals. And crucially, it observes that these big external displays, the robes, the vows, often seem to mask really small everyday failings, the little sins.
Little sins. Right. It suggests the grand gestures might be overcompensating for those tiny, constant compromises we all make.
Exactly. And this is where the gate's observation gets incredibly specific, almost uncomfortably so.
Yes, this is where it gets really interesting. It itemizes them. Like a stolen glance.
Minor failure of attention, maybe fidelity. Then a coin tucked neat.
Suggesting perhaps hoarding, or a small act of selfishness, maybe keeping a coin meant for the poor.
Could be. Again, the gate doesn't say why, just what it sees, but perhaps the most revealing one is a whispered prayer, then a trembling retreat.
Ah, that one really hits home. The attempt at devotion, immediately followed by, what, failure of nerve, doubt, anxiety.
It captures that psychological complexity perfectly. The person approaches, makes the gesture of seeking help or connection, whispers the prayer, and then instantly recoils, back into fear or uncertainty.
It's like watching psychological warfare in miniature. Over and over again, these huge contradictions playing out daily right there at the threshold.
And the gate sees the performance. It sees the pious posture, hears the whispered prayer, but it also smells the sweat of anxiety, sees the halo flicker with doubt.
It knows the real motivation underneath the act.
And the source gives us those brilliant inversions, doesn't it? Pride masquerades as piety, someone acting humble to disguise their arrogance, or the opposite. Humility hides in sly anxiety, someone genuinely anxious perhaps putting on a show of being lowly. It sees through the masks.
It's like this immovable mirror, reflecting the truth back even if no one else sees it.
That's a good way to put it, a mirror that's been standing there for centuries.
Which brings us to time, doesn't it? The gate's perspective isn't just momentary, it's incredibly long-term. It sees individual lives against this vast backdrop.
Yes, connecting it to the bigger picture is key. The gate measures time differently, geologically almost. While human lives are just these quick flashes and says, the river of time flows at my feet, carrying the young, the old, the incomplete. It's watching entire generations pass by.
So how does that immense perspective affect how it views human promises?
Yeah.
Vows, commitments. If our lives are so short, does it just see them as kind of meaningless?
Fleeting.
Not meaningless, I think, but definitely conditional, temporary. It watches vows being made all tight and solemn.
Yeah.
But then inevitably, it sees them quietly fray. It uses that wonderful comparison. They fray like the rope of a bell that swings in May.
The bell rope. Strong, necessary for calling people together.
But every single use, every swing causes wear, causes friction. The gate understands that human action itself, even with the best intentions, leads to the slow wearing down of commitment. It's inherent in the process.
And it's not just observing quiet internal struggles either. It sees life happening messy and real. Oh, absolutely. It mentions it has known love bloom in cloistered halls, so romance isn't absent, but also tempers flame against the ancient walls. Anger, conflict. It's the silent backdrop for the whole range of intense human emotions, the good and the bad.
And because it is just a backdrop, totally impartial, it registers all the different reasons people even come to it. Not everyone wants the same thing from the monastery or from life.
That's right. The variety of motivation is huge. As the text says, some seek heaven, some merely adore.
Just an exit. Or maybe an entrance to something else entirely.
Could be either. And some pray to ascend, to rise above their flaws. But fascinatingly, it also says some pray to descend.
Descend into what? Maybe acceptance of their flaws? Or something darker?
The text doesn't specify, but the gate holds both prayers equally. It holds all their prayers as it holds its bend. Its own physical structure is impartial to the content of the prayers it witnesses.
So every person, every journey, every little success or failure, it all becomes part of this ongoing story the gate is telling.
Exactly. Each footstep a verse, each heartbeat a drum. Each individual life, however flawed or incomplete, adds a necessary line to this long ballad of existence.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. What's the gate's ultimate role in all this? It takes in all this human drama, the sins, the sweat, the shifting halos, the anger, the love, but it explicitly says,
I take them all, yet call none by name.
Right. No judgment, no naming and shaming.
It seems its function isn't to be a judge or even a guide, but just an impartial absorber, a witness to all of human reality, the good, the bad, the messy. It opens for everyone, sinners and saints alike. And when they leave, it doesn't matter if their halos are faint or bright. The gate apparently blesses their path in the dark of night.
Unconditional acceptance, then, regardless of whether they succeeded or failed in their spiritual quest during their visit.
It seems so. The wisdom here isn't about achieving perfection. It's more about recognizing the sheer persistence of seeking. The resilience. Remember that line, a vow may break, yet a voice may still rise. Failure is expected, maybe even necessary.
So breaking the vow isn't the end of the story. The voice rising again, the act of trying again, that's what matters.
That seems to be the core understanding. The gate accepts the cycle. The struggle, the failure, the relapse, and then maybe the return to try again. The process itself is what the gate witnesses and validates.
And this endless cycle, striving, failing, performing, revealing truth, hiding again, it all leads to the gate's very last and maybe most enigmatic observation. After watching all this intense human drama for centuries, the desires, the fears, the fraying vows, what does it do?
Well, it says, I chuckle in hinges.
It chuckles. Not a human laugh, but a sound of its own mechanics. Sort of dry, metallic amusement.
Yeah, not judgment, not exhaustion, not empathy even. Just this quiet, ancient chuckle, like it's in on a joke.
And the reason it gives for this chuckle, this shared secret maybe.
Because they all come in.
They all come in, no matter how they struggle or posture or fail. They keep coming back to the gate.
It's the perfect end, really, that blend of complete acceptance and this vast eternal knowledge. The gate knows that whatever happens, broken vows, elaborate disguises, hidden sins, the fundamental human drive to seek, however flawed, will always bring people back to its door.
Whether that chuckle is amusement at our efforts, or maybe relief that the seeking continues, or just the sound of ancient stones settling into the knowledge of our shared inevitable mess, well, we'll leave that for you to ponder. What brings you to your own gate? We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.